And on that note, look who it is.
Hey, Molly. Okay, I was going to say, it sounds like your laptop mic is what we're hearing.
How dare you say that?
Shit.
Never question the ears of this guy.
The ears
of this.
The golden ears.
The ears of this guy. I'm going to get you a shirt that says...
Where in the world is Molly
God,
Ruland?
Adam, you are so loud.
Ay, jeez, Molly.
I speak Spanish now.
Yikes.
Ay, caramba, señor.
Yikes. Am I okay now?
That's
still
better.
Pretty loud, but
You obviously didn't attend my
that?
podcast audio lab on audio interfaces.
clearly. God.
How's this now?
That's better.
More better?
Yes.
I don't cringe now. I have to raise my laptop so it looks...
You guys just want me to change my microphone and I won't do it.
I didn't ask you to change your microphone.
You will.
It's okay when the
We're
game's
only 30 seconds into the show.
I know. We always like to ask you, like, at the worst time. Hey, Adam, why don't you...
Hey, how's it all going?
Let's screw that up for you.
Oh, yeah, your mic sucks.
I did like the Sennheiser better. Where did it go?
You know, it's good. It's a better sounding microphone, but I thought that not that this is slim, but that was just like
It was huge.
mega. That was just that was even more big. I still got it right here.
Was your
but-
uncle making even more fun of you? Is that what it was?
Yeah, everyone. I just got laughed. I got made a lot of fun of. I can only take so much.
That's right. Adam's a person,
I can only
too,
take so much
you
too.
know.
I'm a person too, and so this isn't, but I wear it, so it's like part of me. I wear it all day. It's more comfortable, kind of. So
I mean, functionality matters, right? Like,
you're gonna be wearing this thing a lot. You know, it's gotta be comfortable.
Are you podcasting all day?
I am. You know, I don't leave here, and I talk to people all the time in Teams and stuff like that all day. So
okay.
more business than podcast.
and in his spare time, he sells subscriptions to Time Life magazine. So, you know.
That's right. First year's only $10.
That's all, folks. I'll see you later. I'll see you next time.
Don't buy a Yeti. I'm out. Yeah.
I did a recording today with an elderly couple in London. They had the Yeti Mini aimed down, and I was like, "Let me give you a little tip." And they're like, "Really? We've been using it this way."
I will say, maybe I give everybody in the world that uses them too much credit, but if you put it in omnidirectional mode and you pointed it at your face, wouldn't it work?
Yes, and it would pick up every goddamn thing.
I'm not saying it would be
Marcus just cursed.
that
dude,
much
so
better,
like, watch
but
out.
it wouldn't be completely wrong.
I don't know.
It's different than
It is completely wrong. Yes, that is not how
just
you
using it in general is wrong, but
yes.
There is a right way to use the wrong microphone.
I still don't understand why a purpose-built podcasting microphone needs omnidirectional pickup pattern. Who wants that?
Fact. That's a fact. But it's not purpose-built for podcasting.
Well, I guess you're right.
It's become that.
It's become that. So what was
it was not intentionally
for?
like every other USB
YouTubers?
microphone on the planet. They think they're going to be made for everyone, which I think is the shining beacon of hope that is the MV7, because it literally says it on the box.
Yeah.
It's not trying to be more than it is. You know, a lot of these mics they try to be everything to everyone. That's the problem, and that's why the microphones that are for podcasting have become the ones that everyone needs. You got the pod mic, you got the MV7, the Podcaster, the Rode Podcaster. The PD70, the PreSonus one, like they're purpose built for the thing, and they're generally all used the right way.
Yes.
Without issue, you know. And an SM7B is a broadcast microphone that was used for podcasting. It can be used the wrong way if you don't have the right stuff with it, but the podcast intentionally designed ones, they get used the right way.
It's pretty hard to talk into the wrong end of this, though. But I know Molly said she had a client that did it with.
You'll find someone. You'll find someone for sure.
I'm sure he doesn't watch this show, so I'm just going to do a dramatic reenactment. It was like very much to the side. Like, you're gonna go places, kid. I don't know what was happening, but and then I think I told you guys last week, but I saw somebody doing an interview and they had the microphone behind them, but like in the shot still. I'm like so confused. Like it was a step and repeat. It was like, look, I have a microphone. You can see it behind me.
I really feel like there is a class of society that just has no common sense at all when it comes to anything with technology.
Which is like 97% of the population, let's be honest.
Well, I mean, even, I don't know, because a friend of mine who was a guest on, and a former client of mine who was a guest on a podcast that I'm producing right now, I sent her my kit, which is a Samsung Q2U. I even have a video that shows you how to fold it out, get it out of the case, set it up. And she had it sitting, pointing away, like on the other side of her desk. I'm like, where's the mic? I'm like, we're ready to go. Oh, okay.
It's over here.
She won't ever watch this podcast either. So
at least people know what microphones are now. Like people are a bit more familiar, at least a little bit.
Yeah.
Than previously.
We're making progress.
There's progress being
We're
made.
making progress.
But there's always, I don't know, Molly, with all the events that you've done, there's the MC person that would come up and just like hold the microphone like over to the
And
side while they're
like,
talking.
We can't hear you. We can't. And I'm pointing. I'm like,
usually it's the grandmother at the wedding or something, but yeah.
Well, you know what it is? It's
about
every Q&A session that's ever been done on any panel discussion ever. It's like you pass the microphone around the audience and then they just hold it at their chest like it's a sword, And you're like, yep, that.
Maybe events after this will be a little bit better. Maybe people will know, like, oh, that's a microphone.
I know how to use
because
it.
we're dealing with
hold it.
Yeah.
Gotta use
we're fixing the problem right now.
One viewer at a time.
That's right. If you're out there, people.
We got another viewer?
All 7 of you.
Hi, Mom.
Well, I did see that we're actually showing up in the podcast app search now.
Oh, well, thank God for
great.
small favors.
It only took them a month.
Progress.
Thanks, Apple.
Progress.
Yeah.
I want to see that. That's cool.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
This is a little off topic, but I have this like red patch in the middle of my forehead, and it comes and goes. It's like
called a sunburn.
No. This is sunburn.
Climate.
This is the mark of Buddha. Did you ever see How High? That guy has like the patch. Okay, maybe you're not my people after all.
Yeah.
Never seen How High. I gotta go. Podcast is over. Maybe it means I'm gonna win something.
So how's Costa Rica treating you?
Yeah, how is it down there?
I have a drink in my hand. I'm like, it's great. It's great. It was really hectic at first. I moved to an area that had no Wi-Fi at all. Like my phone didn't work unless I was on Wi-Fi. And then in general, the Wi-Fi in the entire region just sucked. And so I had to bail because I can't run my business that way, clearly. So that didn't last long. And then I came up to Tamarindo, which is like, so in Costa Rica, the biggest city is San Jose, which is like the capital city. And then there's 2 big beach cities, Jaco and Tamarindo. And so Tamarindo is like the 3rd largest city in the country. And it's like the size of like Adams Morgan. It's like so small. It's crazy. But there's like, clinics and healthcare here and vets and like, you know what I mean? Like just, more conveniences than in a lot of other places in Costa Rica where you might have to drive really far. And I'm about
guacamole and bags.
Yeah. And I'm about an hour and a half from the airport, which is not bad in like Costa Rica time because everything just takes like way longer than you think it will.
Yeah.
So it's cool. I'm in this super nice house. I feel like I'm living in a rap video. It's absurd. Like it's
awesome.
legit
It's
absurd.
awesome.
Seriously.
Is it like marble tiles outside by the pool?
I don't think they're marble.
It's some kind of
they look marble, but they're a little rough, so you don't like fall on your ass, But then the entire house has
that
these
makes
2
sense.
foot by 2 foot.
But it looks really nice.
like white tiles everywhere. It's a brand new house. I'm the first person to live in it.
Wow.
Baller.
That's awesome.
And
Baller.
it's so
With a
cheap.
pool.
that I can live here for 2 months for the same cost of 1 month rent in DC.
That's insane.
So I'm never coming home.
Stupid
Damn.
DC.
Never.
Damn. That is awesome.
It's a game changer. Got a pool. Although, Costa Rica isn't all fun and games. Like this morning, I went for a walk / slow jog because I'm out of shape from not being on my treadmill these last couple weeks. And I was walking down the road and I passed this neighbor's house and there was this cute little brown dog. And he was like wagging his tail at me. I was like, oh, I'm going to say hi to the dog. And then right when I got up there, this other little brown dog was like, jumped out of nowhere and was like, Brr. I was like, dude, I could kick you. Like, don't fuck with me. And then another little dog showed up. He was even smaller. He was black and white. And they were like barking at me and like chasing me down the road. Like, that's right. You keep walking, And then on the way back, I was like, where are the dogs? And I looked over and they were eating a dead goat in the yard. And I was like,
oh my God.
So that's why I'm drinking.
They thought you were going to get their goat.
I'm like, I don't know who needs help here. I don't know what to do with this. So I just kept walking.
Now, how large was that gigantic bug on your window that you showed in that picture?
Apparently it's called a langosta, and it's like a special breed of crickets.
Wow.
Now, I mean, like this
dude,
big?
it was
Or like it looked like this, like the size of a small, like were those actually dogs or were those large crickets that you saw this morning?
Like, I know, right? They could have just been fully developed crickets, actually. Like, those aren't dogs.
That picture upset me a great deal.
I know, my friend was like, there goes half your visitors, and then I like posted the picture of the swarm of daddy long legs, and she goes, there goes the other half,
Right. Yeah, spiders.
Answer the question. How big? I'm concerned now.
Legit, its body. I mean, its body was as long as this cup. I don't know if that's really giving you like maybe a little bit longer, and then its legs. I mean, if you look at that picture, you can tell from the screen, because it was a screen, so you can see how small the screen holes is and how big, bruh.
And you said it was making a noise?
It was like, and I was like, I'm out.
Oh my God.
I'm out.
Stop.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Stop. I'm not sleeping.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I know. And then the same night, so what's happening is there's the security lights on the house. I'm in like Fort Knox in this piece. Like there's like a fence around the property. There's alarms on all the doors and windows. There's cameras. There's like motion sensor lights. And
nice.
the landlords are like, we're not paranoid or anything. I'm like, could have fooled me, motherfucker. I lived in the hood for 20 years. I never had any of this shit. You know what I mean? Like, I think you might be a little paranoid. But whatever, I'll take it. And it has like a panic button on it. So if I hit the button, it's like a car alarm. It has like a little key fob. And so when I leave, I'm like, boop, boop to the whole house, right? And it has like a panic button, right? But I'm the first person to live here. So the security lights aren't like totally dialed in the right way. And so like they just keep going off all the time. And so the other night, the night of the giant bug, the lights kept coming on and off. So what it was doing is attracting every fucking bug within 100 miles of this joint, because like people are smarter than me and they turn their lights off at night. So the only place they had to go was my house. And so when I went to bed that night, there was just crickets like dive bombing the house. I just kept hearing like, dunk, like, like, I'm like laying in bed, like trying not to be freaked out by it. Like, oh my God, I'm going to wake up and the whole house is going to be covered in like a million crickets, And I opened the window the next morning. There's like nary a cricket to be found on this whole property. So I think I was in middle of a swarm or some sort of mating ritual or something. Cause like, it was a little disturbing laying in bed, like trying to ignore all the like thumping of the bodies hitting my house. I was like,
seriously.
Oh boy.
But I mean,
the thing that size could have broken your window probably.
Like, yeah, if that was in Trinidad, he would have already stolen my television by the time I woke up. For real. Good Lord. Yeah, I mean, but it's par for the course, right? Like when you don't destroy your land and like take down every tree and like clear every property to have grass and dumb shit like that, you end up with a lot of bugs. That's kind of what happens.
Yeah.
They have lots of places to go, because you're not like spraying your yard with Roundup,
goats,
killing your kids and your future children with cancer. You know what I mean? Like you just deal with crazy bugs in your house, like these spiders that keep popping up at nighttime, and they look like spiders that could really hurt you. And when you kill them, they make
I don't like
a
spiders.
big mess. I'm gonna be like a hardened.
I hope you brought protection. Yeah, you're.
I'm gonna be a rusty scupper by the time this is over. I'm just gonna drink my way through it and be like, "What bugs?"
What?
Like, crawling all over my head, like. But
But you're fully functional now. Like you're
yeah.
set up, ready to go, like ready to rock, no problem.
I even got my neon light going on in the background.
What a time. What a time to be alive that you can just pick up your whole business and just do it all from Costa Rica.
It's pretty nuts. And all my clients are happy for me / hate me. They're like, yeah, whatever. Costa Rica sucks, I'm sure. I feel like this light is probably too bright.
Awesome.
I don't know.
And you're on Central Time too, so it's not like even a crazy.
Yeah,
time
it's not
zone,
dark
right?
outside yet,
Oh,
which is nice.
wow.
I know, because that's 5:30.
That's awesome.
here. What a time to be
great.
alive.
What a time.
And there's these giant
What a
toads
time.
on the property, like giant toads. And they spit out this toxin that'll kill your dog. But I'm also pretty sure it's the ones that if you ingest the toxin, you trip really hard. So
That'll be
I
next
will keep you
podcast.
abreast of my toad licking adventures and see if I don't show up next week, you'll know why. We've lost Molly.
That should be the episode title.
That'll be it.
Adventures in Toad Licking.
And we
I think we just came with the next
Yeah, I
podcast.
think we got-
a whole new
That's
new
right.
setup.
I think we got our name for tonight, Matt. Write that down. That's good stuff right there. Yeah, I mean,
Just rolling with a little MV7 and just record yourself running through the jungle with giant crickets and licking toads as you go.
sounds like Burning Man. You know what I mean?
It's probably just gonna be running around your backyard and it's gonna be a wild adventure.
I mean, pretty much. Pretty much.
yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
man, it's awesome. I'm already thinking about fostering a pregnant dog because that's what you do when you go to third world countries. You're like, give me all the dogs. I'll take all of them. But yeah, it's a different world, but it is interesting. Like COVID doesn't seem to really exist here. I mean, that's probably an ignorant statement, but no one really seems to be afraid of it. Like if people come to your house, like workers, like the internet guy came and he wore a mask, so people are respectful like that. But the numbers are so low here, and then everything is outdoors. So you're hard pressed to find a restaurant that's completely inside. Everything is open air. It might have a roof, but it doesn't have walls. So it's really not hard to stay away from it. You know what I mean? Because everything is open air and you're at the beach and there's always a strong breeze blowing. So it's not very
And there's just
populated.
not that many people.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
not that many
yeah.
people at all. So it's I've came in more contact going to the grocery store back home with people than I have here. But listen, did you guys hear about Mark Cuban?
I did.
Yes. Let's go into it. What's he doing?
That guy. He just bought a new app or podcast platform called Fireside with Falon Fatemi. It's a next gen podcast platform that facilitates live conversation. So basically, it's Clubhouse. Is what I'm getting.
But you can record. That's his
Oh.
thing. Yeah. And apparently they're curating conversations.
Huh.
That
Whatever
sounds like
means.
something I would put in a sponsor package. It's complete bullshit, but whatever.
Right.
I listened to a couple more Clubhouses. I am extremely intrigued by the whole thing. It upsets me that they're not recorded. There's some that I've man, I really wanted to listen to that, and I just was at work or it was super late and I couldn't listen to it. That's definitely a detriment to it, I think. But the platform itself is super interesting. It's super interesting how these things go. I mean, there's definitely ways it can improve upon on the audio of it, but the flow of it and the way that you can interact with people and how people have instantly kind of I was in one that was very well run by some marketers and some entrepreneurs and some business people, and there was the organ. I don't know. I've only been in a handful of them. It was the best run one I've seen, and just the flow is just super tight. How they ask questions and let people from the audience come up on the stage and how they hold this whole thing going on. hadn't had too much experience with it, I was very impressed how the whole thing worked and how it's a really cool platform. I'm blown away at how I never thought an audio first platform like that could social network like that could like really do the thing. It's super cool.
I'm wondering how long it's gonna be popular because I feel like it's all the rave right now, and I don't know, it's already lost its luster for me personally because I just can't find room. Like it seems like everything, and maybe it's just the algorithm settings or whatever. The people I've chosen to follow and the topics and stuff. It seems like everything that shows up on my feed is about becoming a millionaire or growing your audience, or it's all this marketese garbage that I have no interest in hearing these people talk about. Like I'm having a really hard time finding stuff I actually want to listen to.
I feel like that the news feed element of it definitely is going to be, for it to exist beyond where it is. Like you have to invest a lot of time in it to make the platform work for you, right? You have to follow the right people. Otherwise, you're only going to see things from the people that you follow. Your friends bring you into conversations because like you see that they're in something like that. So like right now, it's pretty limited in what you're going to be exposed to. There's no news feed to insert things that you may be interested in beyond what you already follow. So there's not that like organic reach element to it. You either have to hunt for it or be pulled into something from someone that you know.
Right.
And they may not be into the thing that you like. You interact with people that outside of Clubhouse in a whole different sphere that you may not have associated with in Clubhouse yet, and so you're not going to see the things that you actually want to be associated with. You see that one person you had in your phone book because it ties into your phone book. So you see like, oh, I know that dude, like, or I know that girl. Like, what's she into? Like, that's interesting, but like that's not what I'm really into.
Right.
So it definitely has. It's kind of like Facebook in the beginning where it could just you're not gonna. It's right now like Facebook is almost like too curated. Like you see things from like 6 people that you don't even know if you like them, but you always like click on their shit. So like you just see their stuff, as opposed to like Instagram, which is a little more fed from like, I feel like that's a bit more like you see things that you're gonna like, and other things kind of get thrown in because you can like hashtags and stuff like that. Clubhouse hasn't worked to go on the news feed side of it, but as far as a platform goes, I still think it's pretty interesting. I think this audio hangout thing could persist because it's kind of like podcasting, right? Like you could do it in the car. You could do it while you're working. You could listen in while you're working to an interesting conversation. It's not quite as structured as a podcast could be. It's not quite as there's less of a serial nature to it that something could go in sequence, but it's pretty interesting what can happen there, and it makes sense, all the sense in the world that it happened now. It's super. I mean, obviously, I don't think it came about in the last year. It probably was being worked on beforehand, so it was just very timely. But like, it gave people something to connect with people in ways that's not Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, blah 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 blah. Real organic, like real conversation, not like smiley face, fire emoji. Like it's like a real, it's real shit. I use fire emoji all day, but I'm just
like
saying.
Speaking from experience. Yeah, I mean,
right.
Well, you know what I do love about Clubhouse is it seems to be an excellent platform for Black creatives, and I am down with that. Like, give Black people their own fucking platform and let them, like let everybody on there, whatever. But I'm just saying, I love that there's a space where like Black creatives are just taking over, and it's like very geared and like Black centric, and I'm like, I'm just here for it. I just think that's awesome. Like, I just, I don't know where there was a more welcoming place, you know what I mean, for that environment or that group of people, because, Black creatives are just taking advantage constantly. They're like the backbone of everything awesome in this country, and they get no credit for it. So I like that it's like really heavy populated in that direction. I think that's awesome, and I hope they like take it and run with it and just make it like theirs in a sense. You know what I mean?
And I really hope it doesn't get co-opted by the VC investor guys like Mark Cuban. And that's the thing. That's like why he's building his own, I guess. But it's like, I just feel like there's the whole side of it that I'm seeing as a white dude, and I guess the algorithm is tailoring to me because that's who I am. I don't know, because I do see the rooms and I love it. I don't feel like I can go in and be a part of that, which...
No. I think it's okay. Listen, man, like you always got to have down white people on the squad. You know what I mean? Like you just can't go in there and like take over and mansplain and co-opt. Like, but I think it's important. I think it's important for white people to be in black rooms and listening to black conversations, because if not, it's like it's this them and us kind of thing. And it's like, nah, man, we're all just people. And if you don't have a lot of black friends or black people in your life, then you might not be exposed to that. So I think, I think that's awesome. And I don't know if it's because I don't really know who created it, but it definitely has like a black guy as the app icon. So is that the guy who created it? Because that's interesting. So. I wonder if that's like just good marketing, right? Or what? Yeah, I noticed it's like Alpha Technologies or something like that as the creator of the app, which I thought was an interesting name for a app making company. But I don't know. You brought up an interesting point though, Adam, because it's connected to your phone, right? And so like as a woman who's been on a lot of bad dates, like, I could just end up in a bunch of Clubhouse rooms with dudes I didn't like, you know what I mean? Like, ghost of Tinder's past, man. Like, just saying.
I also like the nature of it that you had to be brought in by invite. And so I think that also, like, that's how, I think, it's hit a mass now where, like, everybody's invited at this point. But that was... in the buzzy, a couple months back, like, what's Clubhouse? Oh, you got an invite. Like, can you get me an invite to Clubhouse? I want to be in on Clubhouse. Like, I got one from like a random person. Like, what is this? Like, do I want to be in on this right now? Like, is this? And then I was like, oh, someone told me like, oh, no, you want to be on it. Like, that's super cool. Like, you're on a Clubhouse. I'm like, what? What is this? I'm downloading Fireside right now. I'm like trying to see what this is about. It's interesting. It does position itself like completely different. Like Clubhouse is like people with people, and like you could do your own thing and start your own thing. Fireside, chat with society's leaders.
See, that's very Mark Cuban right there. That's like
very different. A totally different thing. Fireside is a digital town hall that facilitates discourse among citizens and the influential leaders of society. Use Fireside to asynchronously communicate through video, Q&A, and these decision-making today.
Very video, too.
Very different kind of platform. Similar, I think, in some ways, but it seems more like it's, on the surface at least, it seems like it's going to be more like Masterclass, but like whether... maybe live, but like more like masterclass from like people that already have the floor, whereas Clubhouse is organic, and it's like we could start a Clubhouse and we could do our own thing on Clubhouse about podcasting, which we probably should.
I mean, dude, we could all be in a Clubhouse room right now, just like with the phone next to us recording our podcast.
We probably should do that next time. That would be like a fun one to do, and just like see what the hell happens and just answer people's questions and record it. For the podcast. Yeah. Like that's how this thing is, and we could get some really cool questions, and because you could invite all the people that are all your clients. You could invite them in and ask them what their experience is like. I totally get it now.
All right, I'm sold.
And what
I'm in. I'm sold.
I gotta.
What we could do? Okay.
I gotta get on Clubhouse.
So the technical side of that, because this is what I do. All we need to do.
Go in, Marcus. Yeah. Go in.
I mean, you guys already have the Rodecaster Pros, so you could
Bluetooth it.
Yeah, you could just plug in your.
I brought it.
Not Bluetooth.
I'm gonna do it.
No, you will not. I will not talk to you via Bluetooth.
I'm saying I got my Rodecaster. Jeez, I brought it to Costa Rica.
But yes, Molly, plug in. Do you have a TRRS to TRS cable?
I have one that came with the no. Yes, of course I do.
And a lightning to headphone adapter. No, please don't. I won't do a podcast over Bluetooth. I'm serious, guys. I have standards.
Yeah.
tech.
Right,
Matt.
Matt
talk.
feels me.
We're gonna tech talk it.
You're
gonna
just
try it out.
co-opting Matt because he can't respond. I feel like that's. Well, we should do. I was thinking about starting a room or a whatever, a club, a house. I don't know what they call it. That's
House, tree house, clubhouse.
Clubhouse. Yeah, exactly. I was thinking about starting one that was just like, I produce podcasts for a living. Ask me anything. So we could do one that's like, we produce podcasts, we edit podcasts, and we sell podcast gear. Ask us anything, and we should do that once a week and just go in there and just answer people's questions, because I feel like that's what we all love to do anyway. Is like help people.
That's what
instead
we
of
do.
just being like, I'm Molly, and I'm fucking really proud of myself for.
Right.
I would much rather be like,
exactly. I have a book coming out.
Yes, catch me on. Yeah. So yeah, I think that could be cool. That'd be interesting. Maybe we could double our, viewership, which we only need like 8 more people, so we're in there.
Yeah, right. Be great.
But we can still do video, so we could still do it this format. Right. All we'd have to do is do this simultaneously, but just mute the audio in Riverside and listen to each other on Clubhouse.
Madness.
So we can still see each other.
Okay, we should do it. We should just experiment.
We're gonna do
next week we have Carl Sona as our guest. He has I can't remember the name of his company, but he owns a podcast company, so we'll be chopping it up. So maybe the next week, or maybe we can rope him into it. Yeah. He probably has a Clubhouse handle or whatever,
Cool.
Yeah,
Let's
man.
do it.
Crazy. Fucking Mark Cuban.
Crazy.
Bastard.
I am honestly sick of these marketing gurus that are taking things over and trying to co-opt a social platform for their own gain. They're trying to build, use it to make money basically. And it is driving me nuts. I'm sick of it. I do love how Clubhouse, you can go in and sit in on any room, and there's a good chance you could get called up on stage with somebody that's your hero, or even just having conversations with people you never met before about the topic and stuff. It's like passing a conversation in a hallway and not being looked at weird when you stop to kind of intrude or whatever. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, and I like how it's like leave quietly. It's like a little
right,
nod
yes.
to your behavior,
just
leave quietly, just right out the back door. Although you can't speak out of turn in Clubhouse, right? Like, so you have to be called upon. You can't just talk into your thing, right? You have to raise your hand. You have to get picked.
Well, I think there's the concept of the stage,
right.
and the
right.
and not, and if you're on the stage, then you can just blurt out whatever you want, right?
But
if you're not on the stage, then you have to do something.
You have to have a really good profile picture.
Right. With a color background.
I know. What's up with that?
Yeah, so they know which one you are.
And then you have to have
I'm not. Mine is
not. You
not
have to have 1,700 words in your bio, and lots of emojis.
Right, and emoji. Yeah,
a lot of them.
Yes.
Mine is 4 words.
I know. Mine said podcast producer, and I was like,
and I also do Chuck Levins. Yeah.
But then you have the really super cool people that have not done anything in there.
Right. They say
I'm
nothing.
deleting all my shit.
That's how you know you're extra
I want to
cool.
be cool.
Who the hell are you?
I want to be.
I don't like that because I don't know these people. It's like, do I want to follow you? I'm not gonna.
You could be a Republican for all we know. I'm just kidding.
That's right.
So speaking of not cool, so this podcast called Down the Hill. It's a true crime podcast. It's being altered to be a TV program.
Another one.
Why do people like true crime so much? Like, enough people aren't dying in your own life that you want to spend your fucking spare time listening.
You don't just sit back and chain watch SVU or
because I love life
CSI.
and I want to live it.
I love those shows. I watch them nonstop, endlessly. I don't care if I've seen it 1,000,000 trillion times. I'll watch it again, no problem. just I'll watch I'll watch them on 2 screens. I'll double screen it.
Have you tried therapy? Like, I don't know.
Just give me the weirdest, wackiest crime shit. I'm about it,
dude. But do you know that true crime podcasts are like the #1 genre?
Yeah,
like by like.
What do you think the news is?
Listen, man, I can't handle all that right now. No, the news is like fake news, but
worse.
I'm just saying, like, what a mess.
Florida man.
I don't know. It's just so strange to me. Like, especially now in the pandemic, like when like people are actually dying all around us and like things are kind of tough and like everyone's super depressed and struggling with their mental health, but then they're just like binge watching or listening true crime podcasts. And I'm like, I don't know, man. Do you guys ever think that maybe that's part of the fucking problem? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't go down that road. Then you're sounding like the video game crowd.
Oh.
That GTA is the reason we all, are criminals.
No, this is different though, because Patton Oswalt, his wife who passed away, she was a journalist and she was investigating a serial killer that just came to justice recently. I can't remember who it was, but it really messed up her mind having to live in that death space. It's definitely
there's some
different.
messy stuff out there.
Yeah.
There's no doubt.
And I have to like either I take a break from the negativity shows a lot of times, like the real dramatic stuff that's even when it's really, really well done. I just have to like, okay, I need some positivity in my mind right now. There's enough, especially after this past year. Yeah.
That's the thing. It's like you want some true crime, look out your window, dude. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Christ's sake. But I don't know, right? And there's a whole thing because like every woman I know that's over 50 watches like that, like the murder channel on cable where it's like Snapped and like She Did It and like whatever. Where like there's apparently thousands and thousands of episodes about women killing their husbands, and
they all secretly wish they could do it themselves, so they live vicariously.
It's strange. I'm like, Mom, don't you have nightmares because of this? She's like, it doesn't bother me. I look over and they're like, the bludgeoned body was found in a river of blood. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm going to have bad dreams tonight. I've been here for 5 minutes. Like, what are you how is this not affecting you, right? Like, I do believe that, like, everything that you put in your body, right? Whether it's like food or input or whatever, like it makes a difference. You know what I mean? That's why I really love listening to audiobooks because like I love to be able to learn. I like that companionship, I like the knowledge, it makes me feel better, but those shows, like, they might be interesting, right? But like, how do they actually make you feel when it's done? Like, I watched 7 seasons of Dexter, and I don't trust any of you motherfuckers after that, let me tell you. I'm like, how many serial killers are just walking around? But for real, seriously. It's not good. It's not good.
Yeah.
True crime.
I don't know. I'm about it. I think it's interesting shit. The human mind is an interesting thing, A mind, it's just it's super, to think about the extremes of insanity. I don't know.
Oh, I know all about that.
It's like the extremes of anything. Like it's, I don't know. I like when you take it back to like gear. Like I like to like crank up the volume on something like to hear how it's really going to sound. Like it's the same thing. Like what is the weirdest human really about? Okay, as long as you're not that, then you can be pretty cool. So,
All right.
As long as you're not a serial killer, there's a lot of gray in between.
We can work with that.
Right? I don't know.
Adam's starting to scare me now.
Not a serial killer.
As he pulls out a chainsaw from under his desk. Ah!
Have you watched Mindhunters?
Love it.
Of course you do. You
love it.
That's one of the ones.
Love it.
Didn't see that coming. What is it called?
But that, I mean, what was the podcast that put like podcasting on the map? Like
Serial.
It was Serial,
Yeah.
right? I mean, that wasn't like serial killer shit. Like that was just like
just a crime.
An interesting,
yeah,
well-told story of true crime.
Well, so according to Forbes magazine, the success of a podcast is solely based on the host. So we're screwed, guys.
Damn it.
Yes.
I brought this up on another podcast, or no, actually it was in a Clubhouse room that I brought this up. So
topsy-turvy world.
So because a lot of people, and this is related to the whole issue of the success of the podcast. There's so many of my clients and so many people I hear giving advice of the guests are the most important thing because you capitalize on their audience, and so you go after the top guests that you can, or these guests that have these massive audiences, and the bigger the audience, the better. Aim for the sky, blah, blah, blah. And the thing that I conveyed in this Clubhouse room was that, okay, that's fine and everything, but don't expect them to tweet or do an Instagram post about your show, especially if they're a celebrity, because they won't. They could care less about your platform.
Well, and if they're a real celebrity,
so
they don't even run their own social media.
Exactly. So you can, like, my clients have sent like images and, you know, the caption, everything. All they have to do is copy and paste it in. They don't even do that. They don't even announce they've even been on the podcast. And this is another celebrity guy that I did a podcast for. And so it's like they're his peers, and he won't even do it. So imagine if you're not even a peer of the person you're having on your show. And then the interesting thing is, you know, he's spent all of this energy trying to go after these guests that he thought would help him build his listeners. To this day, the show that has the best downloads was the most interesting topic. And it was the most controversial topic, and and one of the people with the smallest actual social media audiences too.
Oh, that micro influencer, is that what they're calling them? Micro influencers, something like that.
Is it?
Mini influencers? I don't know. You know, it's interesting because I was on I saw like in the PodFam or PodFest Expo, one of those groups. I'm not sure which one I'm in, but this like young white guy posted, and he was like, he said the same thing. He put like 5 pictures of these guys up that are like well-known people who I've never heard of, but I guess they're just well-known in a different circle than I hang out with. But they were 5 white guys, right? And he was like, just saying the same thing, like, hey, like, don't think that like these heavy hitters are going to get your thing, like focus on the content, focus on the whatever. And then this woman I know who's spent like decades working in like equality and like diversity, and like has like legit like the experience and the track record of like being in these streets advocating for people, was like, yeah, I don't know, all I see is like 5 white dudes, and so and this guy just like corrected her, and then another woman commented and he corrected her, and then he was grandstanding about the need for diversity, and then he referred to women as females, and I shut him down so hard. And I was like, bro, podcasting doesn't have a diversity problem, it has a white dude problem, and you're it. Like, you're correcting every woman who's speaking on this thread, you're belittling everything that they're saying. We're not fucking dogs, we're not females, bro. Like, we're women. Please refer to us this way. And like, you're dismissing and like belittling every single woman who comments. Like how, like, but it's just so classic that he's like making a name for himself being the hero of diversity while shutting down every woman who speaks. It's like, no, bro, that's not it, man. You know, and I don't think he ever responded. I think that was like a one and done from him. But you know, it's interesting, right? It's like, you know, who's your audience? Who are you trying to talk to? Like, what are you trying to gain? Whether it's like a high profile guest or you're posting in some group on Facebook, like,
yes,
what's your end goal? You know what I mean? Like, what are you trying to do? Because just like picking the wrong guest, like that could backfire. And also posting dumb shit like that. Like, every woman in that group, I was like, I will be sure to never support anything you do in this industry. And like, I promise you, it's not that there's no women. We're just not in your groups because you chodes exist. You know what I mean? Like, we're not in your groups because you shut us down. You know what I mean? While championing diversity. Like, how you gonna do that? But I mean, it's like indicative of a larger picture, right? Because like white people do that to black people all the time. They're like, oh, diversity hires, and they're like, shh, you know, like don't interrupt. And you're like, that's not it either. So I don't know. It'll be really interesting to see, you know, this swell of female women podcasting, women-led businesses, you know, women editors, women hosts, you know, what's going to happen. Like, just today, I spoke to the California Podcast Association, to the like Bay Area, you know, meetup group or whatever. And I did the the presentation about why every woman should start a media company in 2021, and I like gave them all of the goodies. I told them exactly how to hire people, where to do it, how to build the systems, why it matters. And I just want to keep doing that as much as possible so that like we don't have to listen to like some 24-year-old white dude talk about the diversity problem in podcasting. Like, fuck's sake, man.
How many people were there when you went in your
like I think like 20, 23, something like that. You know, small room, but
it's cool.
You know, hey, if even one woman follows through with it, then like she can employ more people.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Badass.
Craziness.
Super
Crazy.
cool.
You guys are like,
Super
I'm not
cool.
saying anything. I'm just a dude. So,
Well, and
go ahead.
Well, just related to that, I've mentioned this before that I feel like there is overall a shortage, especially in the technical side of podcasting, and not just podcasting, but just in production in general. It could be film, it could be, you know, music. I just don't see enough women doing what I do for a living, and I hate that, and I want to help change that, but I've offered like what can I do to help, and I guess just keep doing what I'm doing because nobody wants to hear from me from those circles. It feels like.
Here's the thing: the best way that a man can advocate for a woman, or anybody who has more privilege can advocate for somebody with less privilege, is just to advocate for them directly. So when you're in all male rooms and they start talking that shit, correct them. That right there is like 100 times more powerful than like you teaching 100 women how to use those isotope plugins or whatever. No matter how valuable that information is, it's that accountability thing, right? And like until men hold other men accountable, the world's never going to change, right? So if you're in that space, right? Like it reminds me of She Podcast, right? Like I told Adam this story, but like, and I was, you know, telling somebody earlier today, like, you know, She Podcast is an amazing podcast convention down in Atlanta. I went down last year, you know, 4 days set up. I was looking at some of those videos today, Adam. I still can't believe I brought like the whole setup like that. It was kind of amazing.
The whole
honestly.
deal. That was awesome. Yeah.
And yeah, man. So like, my old employee came to visit me. He's a young brother named Brandon. And he lives in Atlanta. So he came to see me. I hadn't seen him in like a year. And so I'm setting up. It's the night before the convention starts. And I'm downstairs in like the area where the convention's going to be. So there's only like other exhibitors. There's like a handful of people down there like loading their stuff in. There's like a lot of dollies, you know. And so he comes to visit me and he like comes down the escalator and he's like looking around. And a couple guys are like, "Oh, you looking for She Podcast?" And he's like, "Yeah." And they're like, "It's over there." And they're like, "Hey, man, you know, we've got a man cave, you know, right over here. So if at any point, you know, it gets to be too much, you know, you can always come hang out with us." And Brandon's like standing there looking at these 5 white dudes, like on what fucking planet do like 5 white dudes find solace in like a young brother in Atlanta that they've never seen or met before? Clung to him like a lifeline. And then he was just like, "Okay, cool." And he's like, "I'm gonna go hang out with the thousands of beautiful women. Y'all can hang out in your man cave or whatever."
Right.
But
isolate.
But it's just like, well, that's not it. Why the hell did you go all the way to Atlanta for She Podcast if you're so afraid of us? You could have stayed home. You could have stayed home. You didn't need to be there. Why would you need to get away from us? Are you kidding me?
And how many male-dominated conferences that aren't explicitly male-dominated, but they just are because the nature of so many industries, how many women don't have a woman cave to go to?
Well, we do. It's called the ladies' bathroom, and that's where all the good shit goes down.
Okay.
But I'm just saying it's not designated, okay? But like, yeah, it's super weird, right? Like a man cave, and like, I'm not sure who it was, but I could give you 5 solid guesses as who it was. You know what I mean? Chode number 1,
I have
Chode number 2. But like, why would you go? You know what I mean? Like, right? It's like the question of the decade, right? Like, what are you so afraid of? Like, why? What? You know, like if you're racist, like, what are you so afraid of? If like, what is everybody so afraid of? Like, what do you think these women are gonna do? Like, rip off your head and like eat it, you know, like, is it so bad to be around women? They were just like, I love your shoes. I love your shirt. It has pockets. Oh my God. Like, you want some fairy hair? I love your podcast. It was so great. Thanks for speaking. It was just like, are you kidding me? I didn't hear a negative thing being said that entire weekend. And I was like in the mix, you know what I mean? And I'm as cynical as they come. So y'all know I'd be like pointing out all the shit as soon as I see it. I'm going through therapy to work that out. But like, there wasn't a single eye-rolling moment. There wasn't any drama. There wasn't anything bad that happened that whole weekend. You know what I mean? It's like, what are you guys afraid of, right? So I think it's not about like helping women, but just like checking other men and just making it not cool to like do shit like that. Like, hey, bro, if you need a place to hide out from all these horn-toothed women, like, I don't, you know.
And that's good. I appreciate you saying that, because that's the hard thing to do, because I'll just retreat when I hear somebody being an idiot because I don't want to get involved, but I need to be calling them out. The easy thing for me and the fun thing for me is for me to share my experience and talk about the nerd stuff that I love so much. So, and that's what I guess, you know, it's a bummer for me not to be able to do that in that space, but I totally understand. And I will be looking for more opportunities to call my dude peers, my male peers out.
Dude peers. Well, and there's a way to do it without being like aggressive about it. Be like, hey man, 2021, we don't say dumb shit like that anymore.
I have a problem with that.
You know, like you don't have to like isolate yourself and alienate yourself from your whole social circle, right? The idea is, you know. So this morning I was listening to The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen R. Covey. And because I've never actually listened to it before. I think I bought the book and maybe read like a chapter years and years ago. But so now I'm all in on the audiobook. And he in the beginning, the foreword, he talks about the you know that drawing, that very simple black and white sketch, and it looks something really big just ran by the fucking door. Like really big. I hope it was a cat. That picture that's like, it looks like an old lady and it looks like a young lady. You know that drawing that's like,
yes.
And it depends on which one you see first is the one that you see. And he was talking about this study they did where they showed it to people. And then the people who didn't know that there was 2 pictures, but on both sides were like, this is it. This is all I see. This is all I can understand. It is an old lady.
Right.
Like, screw you. It's an old lady. And then the other people saw the young woman and they couldn't see anything else. They were not open to it. They were very aggressive about it. And then the people who were told that there were 2 images and they could only see one had a completely different way of communicating with each other and engaging with that information, and were so much more open to there being something else, and it was easier to get them to the point of actually seeing the young or the old lady or whichever one they didn't see. And I had to like stop and take a pause, because I'm like, isn't that exactly where we're at right now with everything, right? Like, your truth is yours and my truth is mine, and they can both exist. But we have to be able to be open to that, right? Because what's factual to you is not, you know, I could be looking at that picture of the old lady and be like, there is not a picture of a young woman there. You're lunatic, right? Wake up, sheeple. There's no young lady there, right? But there is.
The blue and the gold dress.
Yeah. So
that mean.
I don't know, man. I don't know I'm not sure what to do with all that. But it just gave me pause for a moment, because I'm like, well, you either know or you don't know, right? And if you don't know, but you're open to knowing, then maybe there's hope for us yet.
Well, and for me, the problem comes when it's not just this is what I'm seeing, it's that you're wrong.
You're wrong.
I'm right, you're wrong. Yeah. And that is the thing where and I do feel like, as a guy, a lot of times I'm worried that with me just expressing truth of this is my experience, I have been called out in the past for, well, you're trying to tell me you're trying to tell me that I'm wrong. I'm like, no, I never said that in anything that I said. I just said, this is what happened to me. I'm not in no way, well, you're implying that what, I'm like, no, I'm just saying my experience was different, so that there's definitely understanding that's needed on both sides. We need to be patient with each other and open-minded of any situation. And it's not just the, diversity thing. It's not just politics. It's not just, podcasting gear, Yeti versus SM7B,
The Yeti already
whatever.
lost. That's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Done.
Headset microphones versus broadcast microphones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
so
amen to that. 100%. Adam, how do you feel
Adam's been
about
awful
terrible
quiet.
men? I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
What do you think about the patriarchy? No pressure. I'll wait. I need a teacup. Be like,
I'm about,
murder.
said it all. You guys murder.
Just kill them.
No, I mean I'm listening. You guys said a lot, and it's just I'm just drinking it in. I think what Molly said is dead on. It's not about what we can do. It's about what we can when we can knock it down when we have the chance to. I think that's just powerful shit. That's the kind of thing that needs to be said. I mean, you nailed it on the head. I don't think I've ever heard someone just say it so succinctly, like that's it. You don't. It's not necessarily about us empowering other people. It's about us making sure that other people don't belittle any other bullshit. And making sure that other people can do what they got to do.
It's like the only way to get. Oh, it is a little cat. He's looking at me like, "Where's my food?" Yeah. I mean, if you're getting bullied, you find the other biggest guy on the playground to get the bully to stop bullying you. You know what I mean? And so, and not that women are inherently weaker or incapable. But we all succumb to peer pressure, and if I'm hanging out and I say something and all my friends look at me and they're like,
well, it's an uphill battle. It's an uphill battle. Like you gotta, you need the squad,
100%.
And the squad doesn't need to be at the front. It's behind you. It's your entourage. It's the.
I love it.
That's it.
And that's it. The episode is done. We're out. Click.
That's
Mic drop. Mic drop.
Headphones off.
It's way harder for me. Way harder for me to mic drop when it's on my head.
Okay, so I have one last thing. So the Economist has launched a new podcast called The Jab, and it's all about like tracking the vaccine productivity and effectiveness, and like just the actually people getting the vaccine and what's going on with it. And it's the worst cover art I've ever seen in my entire life. So The Economist, if you're listening, I'll make you one for free. Just for free.
Worse than the Fireside logo?
Oh,
do it.
I didn't even see it. Hold on, I have to look.
You didn't see the Fireside logo? Sorry, we're revisiting that topic. There was somebody on Twitter that was saying that they can't unsee it.
It looks like black and white Tinder. Isn't that what Tinder looked like?
Somebody thought it was sexual looking. Yeah.
Oh.
On
that
Twitter,
thing?
some people.
With the fire and the...
the pink fire shape with the log in the middle of it.
Yeah, that's bad. That looks like a half a prescription pill, and I don't even know what that is. I don't like it. I don't like no.
Adam's like turning his phone upside down.
It's just bad.
Maybe.
What? Like, why would they use pastel colors and then they use the pastel pink, but then they outline the hell out of the pill?
That is the wrong.
Is that a microphone?
Fireside is not available yet.
I have Fireside.
I don't think that's it.
So am I a different Fireside?
Yeah, there's like 50 different Firesides out
Fireside
there.
chat.
What did I just download?
Yeah.
What did I just download?
I have no idea.
Uh-oh.
It's there's a Verge article that just came out because the guy I know, Dan Benjamin, who's a podcaster, he has a podcast hosting platform called Fireside.fm.
I got to delete this app ASAP.
You thought you were on the cutting edge of social.
Everything I said previously was incorrect about what this app is
whatever.
about.
We've never been big on facts on this podcast. So it's not really our thing.
We're not going to start now.
Oh, yeah. So it says...
but the Economist cover is dumb, too.
Dude, that is the worst. It is the worst. The Jab. It's... Oh, my God. Adam, can you see it? The Jab, a podcast from The Economist.
Because the jab is like a Britishism, right? That's what the Brits call getting a shot I think they.
Well, and the name I don't have a
where that
problem
comes
with.
from.
It's the cover art. It's just so bad. It's so bad. Oh God! And they used Aqua in the Economist as like a red logo. You never use Aqua in red. Never.
It looks like clip art.
Oh, I see that app, and that is an
horrible.
unfortunate
It's
graphic.
horrible. I don't even think the words "the jab" are centered.
I don't know. I'm looking at the weird sexual Fireside logo. That is quite unfortunate.
Yes.
Oh shit, y'all! I don't know how I didn't see this one. Yo,
What?
You didn't see that one?
Kirk Franklin is starting a new podcast. Y'all even know who Kirk Franklin is?
Of course, I know who Kirk
I don't-
Franklin is.
I don't know
I've
what
done
you're
shows
talking
with him.
I fucking love gospel. That's something y'all don't know about me. I'm not a big church person. In fact, church kind of freak me out and make me angry. It's probably because I was raised Catholic and like went to Catholic school.
They use a
I know.
ton
I
of
was just looking
emojis.
at that. It makes me want to punch myself in the face. I hate it. Who wrote that? A 7-year-old? What is this?
Makes you upset that you.
Now I don't
it, too.
understand. I
That's
was just
funny.
looking at it like it was a Mad magazine. I'm like, our target is
Was that the Economist thing, or is that the?
no. That's the Fireside.
We're tools.
If you
we're
click-
building.
if-
We're building
Ah.
a socially responsible talking platform. Our target is to
fighting.
make
Yeah, that's dumb.
What are those two people doing?
conversation,
They look like they're about to
Fighting?
enter the dojo together. I'm not to
wrestling,
make wrestling,
Sumo
to make
wrestling?
talking, wrestling,
fighting,
and microphones in a
and
public
singing
bank, a thing
in a
of
public.
parties and flowers.
I think of
This
parties
makes no
and
fucking sense. For more information, envelope us. Like, no, bro. We're hammer and axing a socially responsible. No, this is dumb. This is dumb. The intern showed him this and he was
Work
like,
on
oh, that's
translating
great,
it.
man. The kids are going to love it. But let's get back to the more important things. Kirk Franklin is launching a podcast that welcomes people from every cross-section of life who seek inspiration and empowerment. I am here for that. The Good Words with Kirk Franklin. Fuck yeah. I love gospel. Like, I love God. And you know what I love more than gospel? Deep house remixes of gospel. And Kirk Franklin has quite a few. And it just makes you want to dance for absolute joy. I fucking love gospel. So there you have it, Kirk Franklin.
Cool.
I'm your number one fan. He has a pilot episode out, and then he interviewed Pharrell Williams.
Nice.
And Kirk Franklin's cover art is not terrible.
Is it him?
I feel like his legs are a little disproportionate in this cartoon drawing of him, but whatever. Cartoons are not meant for accuracy.
Oh, it's a cartoon drawing.
Yeah, man. It's been
He is pretty short.
It's been a busy day. It's been a busy week in the podcast news. Everybody's covering the Mark Cuban thing. I don't know. I think that's all we got for today.
That's plenty.
That's plenty.
What's funny?
Plenty.
Plenty.
Oh,
Plenty.
plenty. It was plenty. We got to talk shit about white dudes.
It was funny too. It was funny. It was funny. It was plenty. Talked about the wrong fireside. Talked about the right fireside. all
That's right.
kinds of stuff.
Fireside, the wrong fireside, you owe us.
Wrong fireside before.
You're
Free promo. Maybe you don't suck. I don't know.
dead to us. So that's all. I
Deleted
know.
you. You're not the new fireside. Maybe work on that
You know-
name. Maybe they probably got a lot of downloads today.
Well, that they probably did, and that's something that like people on Twitter are saying. Did Mark Cuban even bother
That's
Googling the
That's
name
like
Fireside?
that's like being like naming your podcast the Podcast Club. Like, who does that?
Who does that?
Rookie. But seriously, Fireside is Fireside is
podcast,
like
bro?
such a buzzword of like the last 2 years. Let's do a fireside chat. Like, where's the fucking fire, man? Because it just looks like a Q&A panel to me, but you can call it whatever you want. But like,
I've always hated that expression anyway.
it's like this intimate.
Like, I guess FDR used it for his radio addresses and
That's what
stuff.
happens when you Google it.
Yeah.
Then you learn. But yeah, I mean, I am surprised that Mark Cuban, that feels like a pretty rookie move, especially if there's like another fireside that like, because when you read the description, it sounded exactly like his
totally like what it was going to be.
Yep.
It made way more sense because it had way less emojis.
Had nothing to do with wrestling or envelopes.
Couldn't wrestling or office
flowers.
buildings or Greek buildings or whatever it was, flowers. Yeah, and you can't even translate it, so I don't even know what I was supposed to click on.
We need to do a Clubhouse room on how to not use emojis for your marketing copy.
How to market to adults.
You alienate several generations of people. Unfortunate.
Straight up. And the only emoji I recognize
up.
anymore is the whiskey one and the sloth. That's it. That's all I got. And
fire emoji. Sloths. And
That's your life right now. Whiskey and
But you
sloths.
can have a whole conversation with those three.
Seriously.
Cheers to that.
Well, guys, I gotta say, man, I miss you. I didn't see you guys last week, and my life was not complete. I was really excited to see you guys tonight and catch up on Costa Rica things and see your beautiful faces. It's exciting.
Don't get eaten by monstrous bugs.
I know.
Dog bugs.
So the way the house is built, there's like
dog bugs.
And don't send photos either. I don't want to see them. Not of those things.
Holy
You can see
mother.
those.
He's too busy watching his crime murder shows. He doesn't want
I would much prefer to watch a serial killer just do horrible things and see one more picture of that gigantic.
See, now I'm
cricket
gonna
you
send
have.
you like animated.
That messes me up way more. That's how people become serial killers. They just see pictures of giant creepy bugs like that.
You need to go take a picture of the dead goat and send it to him. That's probably more his style.
And on that, happy
note,
podcasting. See you next time.
Buenas noches, señores and señoritas. Live from Costa Rica. This is Monday night, and we will we will
On Tuesday.
Oh shit! It is not Monday. Whatever.
It is in Costa
podcasting.
Rica.
I know. I'm picking up Spanish pretty good, but Lily not so much. You know what I mean? She's still barking in English. It's embarrassing, quite frankly. Like, Lily, get it together.
She'll figure
What are
it
you
out.
doing? Respect. Yeah. All right, y'all. Thank you for an awesome conversation, per usual. I'm looking forward to our guest next week. And I will say that we will get on better track with getting these episodes out on time. I have totally been the fly in the ointment on these things. So Matt will make sure that
It's not like you've had anything else going on, moving out of the
just
country
slacking.
or running a business.
Just slacking. You know, the usual. But guys, always a pleasure. And we'll be back next week to talk about podcast business. And then we got to line up some new guests for the next few weeks, man. We got to get some people in here. So maybe we can have Brian B back.
Yes, that would be
and
awesome.
then he can confuse all three of us again. Be like, speak slower. Just madness. All right. Well, if you're suffering through this podcast, then thank you very much. We will send you the check in the mail, and please be sure to review us on. We don't care about that. Just like the video on YouTube, share it with your friends, leave a comment. I don't know, something. Show us some love. We appreciate y'all. We hope you like the show.
Smash the bell.
What'd you say, Marcus?
Is that what people smash the bell? Is that what people do? I hate it when people say that.
No.
It's like
Edit
Super
that one
Mario.
out.
Eat the mushrooms, smash the bell, live your best life. We're out.